Alright, so today's message is embrace your failures. Embrace your failures. A lot of people are afraid to talk about their failures because they are afraid of what people will think about them. And what you don't realize is that everybody has made a mistake, whether they talk about it or not. So rather you talk about your mistakes, or rather you feel that you're going to be looked at differently or whatever it is, don't be afraid. Don't be afraid to talk about them. You have, like, for an example, I'm doing YouTubing, and I'm doing videos, and I talk about my failures and my soon to be success. I had a lot of failures. I've had failures through school. I graduated out of school, and I'm not afraid to say it. I graduated out of school barely passing. I used to be an honor roll back in elementary. I was on my job. I was on my thing. But as I gotten older, I lost it. I had no passion for it. I had no passion for school. I really didn't. And I'm not afraid to say this because I'm not the only one in the world who feels this way. There's somebody else who also feels this way. But what I will say is that I can't go back. I wish I could go back and do it all over again and be more. But you know what? I can't go back. So the question that I have for myself is, am I going to stay in that circumstance? Am I going to stay that a failure, that because I failed in school that I didn't do good, and or am I going to move on now? Am I going to say to myself, hey, what are we going to do today, Quita? What are we going to do now to be successful? Because there's a lot of people who has master's degrees, who has this and that, PhDs, and can't find jobs. So and not to say anything bad about that, but the point is that rather you have a degree or not, there are a lot of successful people who does not have it. There are a lot of successful people who had to get their GED because they didn't complete school. And the point is that what are you doing today? What are you doing with your life today to make up for the lost times? It's all about making up for the lost times. Talk about your failures. There's nothing wrong with talking about your failures and thinking about your failures, because now you can look at it and you can just move on from that. So don't be afraid to do that, and don't be afraid to share your failures with people, because other people need to hear that and to know that, hey, I am going to be okay, and that I can grow into whatever it is that I want to be. So don't be afraid to talk about it, guys. I'm not afraid, because I noticed that when I talk about it, then I can learn from it, and I can say, okay, I messed up there. That's okay. Now what are we going to do now to make up again for the lost times? Make up for the lost times. Share your failures, because soon you will achieve success. Alright? Sequita Bowling. Gotta get to work. I'm out. Peace.